playback. I'm sure you guys can hear me. Let's double check that we are going out here on the correct YouTube stream. I can see that we at least are on playback here. And one more peek. There we go. We're actually live. Good times. Good times, Matt. Not like last night. Last night was bad times. Bad times for your old pal trying to get lineups in. But
yeah, tough scene for you last night. I mean, it was just a tough scene for NBA DFS in general last night. The value of lineup spots and late swapping was evident last night. Talked about Quentin Post versus Lyles.
Mm-hmm.
Post was a little bit better, but it honestly didn't even matter. You wanted to play Lyles just so you had that roster spot to get onto other stuff. Funky night last night.
Yeah, it was interesting for a 4-gamer. And then the surprise news was Malik Monk. That was out of nowhere from the top ropes. So with him being out, not that we didn't have time to react. They gave us that news in ample time, but that wasn't even on the radar at all.
They did, but it's all relative, right? Because one of 4 games had locked, and that game had a lot of chalky pieces. So, yeah, they gave us enough time to swap in terms of, like, getting onto Kings if you wanted. But if we had known beforehand, I guarantee you Keon Ellis wouldn't have been 10%.
That's a good point. Fortunately for me, I hit a couple of pick'ems. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy, and I had one on Drafters, which softened the blow a little bit for my lineups. But otherwise, yeah, it was not a good night for your old pal. But that's what's going to happen at this time of the year. Caveat emptor and all of that. I will say with pretty much every game save for one locking at lock, if you're playing on FanDuel like I am going to get my lineups in today. So if we finish a little early, we're not stretching this one out, but we appreciate everybody being here for the show. Because God, it was a show last night, that's for sure. I went back and watched the look on my face when I couldn't get the upload to work. I think I had copied them into the wrong column because I'm so used to years and years and years of copying into DraftKings that I must have mucked something up. But the look on my face, priceless, or 80% of my entry fees. So good times there. DraftKings does have that late night hammer game out there. It is Oklahoma City in Los Angeles taking on the Clippers. So we will talk about that as well. James, I did have so good question on the dummy lineup. So tonight, that's really not going to work unless you want to run a single lineup or you put something in well before lock, and maybe I'll be able to do that since we do have most of the injury news. I always set my lineups with players from the last games of the night. So I got to get in, but the construction was all off, and then I was heading out to dinner with family, so I was trying to late swap in the car with wide open lineups for the last 3 games, but they got so heavy on New York, and I was just like, all right, whatever, we'll just let it ride. Not enough giddy in my life, not enough giddy up and go. So it was a shame. It was a shame. But let's jump on in here, Matt. We're going to have some fun because we always have fun. So starting things off, we have the Philadelphia 76ers at the Atlanta Hawks. Let's see if there's any additional Philadelphia news since I took my last information downloads here. We know that obviously Maxey remains out. George remains out. Embiid done for the year. No Kelly Oubre. No Tyrese Maxey. I already mentioned that. Andre Drummond continues to be out. Adam Bona out, and now Lonnie Walker in the concussion protocol. So that is kind of taking quite a few players out of the mix there. On the Atlanta side, surprisingly, Karis LeVert is probable after playing 24 and a half minutes last night. The supposition was that he was not going to play on consecutive games here after having missed two games. So just tread lightly with him. But let's start off here with the visitors. What are you liking from Philadelphia? Because there are some spendy options named Grimes.
Yeah, to be fully transparent, there isn't much I love about about Philly here. It's a good spot. Price tags have really risen though. Justin Edwards looks like the top piece at 4,500, but he's 30% owned. I feel like I can do better at 4,500. The guy I would play, I think, is Grimes. I mean, I never thought I would say that. I haven't really played him at all during this like evolution of a 6K to 9K player with Philly having no one else to handle the ball, but they got no one else to handle the ball. He's been productive for a 9K player for a while now. There's always minutes, instability with these Sixers, but with a lack of spend up options that really look good, I could get on board with Grimes. I never thought I'd say that, but I think he's my favorite piece considering Edwards' ownership. How about you? How do you see it?
So that's fairable. And again, this is one of, just as a reminder, while it all comes down to matchup, availability, and size of the player pool. So much like yesterday, we ended up talking about Kyle Kuzma as a favorable option. Today, we're going to be talking about Grimes as a favorable option. There's not that many pay-up folks in the player pool. So it's with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander not being on the FanDuel slate, that's going to change the popularity there for Grimes. And then, I mean, really, there's Trae Young, I guess, is your other spendy option. So we're kind of living in that secondary tier, which Grimes' price is there, his minutes and opportunity are there. We wouldn't be saying this through the first few months of the season, but we're saying it now. So, there we are with Quentin Grimes, because there are also enough punt options that will allow us to go for Tatum and Grimes, and then a couple other decent plays, etc. So suddenly there we are. Let's flip this over to FanDuel here, and Grimes is 8,500, so he's $500 cheaper than on DraftKings, but he's coming in as a result on almost 45% of the lineups. Now, a lot of that is due to the shooting guard, small forward eligibility, which is rather helpful on the two typically weakest positions that we have. But it is something that you probably wouldn't have thought of if we were, just shooting from the hip a couple days ago about this slate. Somebody say, oh, an $8,500 or a $9,000 Grimes, I wouldn't play them. Yet here we are. Let's see. Jared Butler stands out more on FanDuel. He's coming in at 3,100. Remember, he's bounced around the league. He's the new tank commander. He is the new Cameron Payne now that Payne is on a playoff-bound team. Similarly, Jordan Goodwin on a playoff-bound team. So it leaves Jared Butler there. How are you feeling about others down the list? Ricky Council, Justin Edwards, Gershon Yabusele, who allegedly is having his minutes monitored. He had high 30s in the last game. What else are you seeing here from Philadelphia?
Not a ton. For me, it's Edwards, but like I said, he's coming in over-owned, too much so for my liking. So I'm good on Philly.
Then let's take it over to the ATL. You've got Atlanta coming in after winning last night. Touch and go game there against Golden State, but they ended up pulling out the victory. Okongwu, Trae Young, and Dyson Daniels each played between 34 and 35 minutes. They did play down the stretch, but Atlanta does need to keep winning here. We air quote easier matchup, but heck, as we've seen, even these understudies can take the fight to the better teams, and Atlanta's really not one of the better teams. What are your thoughts on the Hawks?
Atlanta looks good all the way around. I don't think any one guy looks like a must play, but we saw Daniels and Okongwu be pivotal last night, even with all that late stuff. Like, those guys were guys you needed. So I could see going back there. Higher ownership tonight, but they're even cheaper, and they're in a really good spot. So Okongwu was 7,500 last night. Tonight he's 7,400. I mean, minimal decrease, but still, like, he was awesome. He's in play. Daniels is in play. Trae Young's in play just because of the a byproduct of how this slate pans out, and that there aren't that many good spend up options, kind of like we saw last night. And that's especially prevalent with Jokic out. So yeah, how about you?
Seeing it the same way. Luxury plays all the way around, but we are going to have the ability to get there if we so choose, because again, top end options are the likes of Alperen Şengün. So it's one of those where nothing wrong there with Trae Young. We talked about Dyson Daniels and his proclivity for steals. Okongwu is clearly the best of the options. I'd be a little tentative on Karis LeVert. If I remember, I will set him to be definitely below the field when I run my lineups there for FanDuel, just because I'm a little worried about minutes and this opponent and it being consecutive games or consecutive days with games. But aside from that, it's really kind of that core three that we're looking at here, in my opinion, for the Hawks. Shall we move along to the next game?
Yes, sir.
All righty. We have, let's hit refresh on the news. Oh, of course, Josh Green's out because I put him into some of my parlays today. Thanks, pal. That would be for Charlotte. We're going to talk about San Antonio and Toronto here. I think that's next on the run sheet. Indeed, it is. So obviously, Wemby, Fox, and Bassey are out. Nothing really new there. Jakob Poeltl is out along with Emmanuel Quickly for rest. And then you've got Grady Dick and Rodon out as well for respective injuries that are actually real here. Key things that you want to know about Toronto are that, who was it? Orlando Robinson ended up being a DNP the last game. That was because Poeltl was out, and it ended up being Colin Castleton who got the minutes. Tonight, it's going to be, Mobo, Castleton, and Robinson in the front court. So I'm not as worried about that late scratch, or probably that out of nowhere DNP CD, but it is live at this point in the season because clearly, even with increased scrutiny around the injury reporting, the teams don't give a shit. So that was the reason, or Robinson was a DNP in the last one. Take us through the Spurs here. There's three guys that are playing minutes. That would be Jeremy Sohan, who the salary algorithms have not really caught up to him being the starting center for the last two games. We have odds-on favorite rookie of the year, Stephon Castle, who is he is receiving a premium from those same salary algorithms. And then you've got Devin Vassell kind of in the middle there. He's getting good minutes. He has been getting good minutes the majority of the season. I wouldn't expect him to play 35, but I think a little over 30 is a solid baseline here. This is a road game. What do you like from the Spurs here? Because I have a feeling you're going to talk about a few players besides that.
Yeah, so I don't think I like San Antonio as much as the field does. The one guy I think you just play and move on is Sohan. Starting at center, 5,400. He's getting a lot of ownership. The highest owned player on the slate, but deservedly so. I think he's just a clear plug and play guy. Three of the top six most negatively leveraged players are on the Spurs. Sohan, Castle's number one, and Vassell's up there too. So, I think they're fine plays, Castle and Vassell. Their price is up though. Again, kind of like Edwards. I think I can do better. I don't think they're bad plays, don't get me wrong, but at that ownership, I'm just not sure I want to ride the field there. Again, I want to reiterate, I don't think the Spurs guys are bad plays, but the ownership is already there and the price tags are up. So I think I'm mostly good on San Antonio outside of Sohan. If I was playing 150, I certainly wouldn't be Xing these guys out of the field. And if I happen to land on one of them, so be it. But I'm not building around them is how I should put it.
Interesting. I thought you were going to have a little bit more love for Castle. Was my read there. If you were,
I think he's a fine play, but I like a lot of other chalky plays more, and I don't want to just play every single really chalky play on the board.
Sure.
Not that you can't do that and just get real weird with one spot, but when there's 10 or 11 guys getting a lot of the ownership on a slate, you can't play all of them. So Castle might be the odd man out for me, but Again, I think he's a fine play. And on this slate, there aren't that many great plays. So maybe that's why the field is getting to him.
All right. James Perkins says, can Sohan ever score over 30 fantasy points? I think he has a very strong probability of that today. Remember, he was coming off the bench the last few games. In his 2 most recent games where he started, he's averaging 36.5 minutes, 15.5 field goal attempts, 16.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and half of a steal. I don't think he's going to be pushing over 35 minutes in this one. He could, but why? I think something in the mid-30s or low to mid-30s is reasonable. We have him projected for 33, so that's kind of right on the button there. And he's been a fantasy point per minute guy, which gets him into the mix there. For your question, can he get over 30? The real question is, will he get over 40? He's going to need efficiency or picking up some blocks and steals to get him there. But I think he is absolutely fine as a foundational play in all formats across the different sites this evening. Looking to Toronto, boy, talk about kind of a mess here. So minutes have been all over the place for these guys. We had, let me get to my notes here, because Scotty Barnes popped up out of nowhere in the last game, 35.5 minutes in San Francisco against Golden State there. Prior to that, in his 5 games, he had played 30.5, 27.5, 24.3, 25.5, and 27.2. So I went and looked up the rules for the injury reporting and how the NBA does it for what they call stars. So anybody that has played in an all-star game or has been named to an all-NBA team in the last 3 seasons is considered to be a star per the injury reporting. And they're trying to make the teams become more forthcoming with that, which is why Lauri Markkanen, who 2 years ago made the all-star team, the Utah got fined for that. This is why you're seeing RJ Barrett have basically reasons as to why he's missed 3 of the last 8 games, because he wasn't really a star. You're seeing Scotty Barnes tend to play, but Toronto has kind of said, yeah, but we're going to keep his minutes in check. And they have declined to play him twice in the fourth quarter of games that were technically winnable for them. So each of the teams is sort of handling this differently, but it's creating some confusion or consternation among people following along. But that's kind of why you're seeing foolishness with RJ Barrett, but then they're actually being, responsible with some of the other players, with the Barnes in particular. But aside from that background, what do you think is intriguing from Toronto with no Jakob Poeltl and no Emmanuel quickly?
I like Toronto here. Really good spot for them at home. I like Jamal Shed. I like Colin Castleton. I like Magbo. I think these guys are just too cheap for their roles tonight and the spot. So the San Antonio guys are better players, no doubt about it, but they're like double the price of the Toronto guys. So for DFS purposes, I like the Toronto side more. Again, Jamal Shed I like. Castleton I like. Orlando Robinson, even with the risk, I like. Magbo, he looks like a good value play. So I could get on board with a bunch of Toronto fill-in plays for sure.
All right. I'm curious to see how many of these guys are going to come into my lineup. They make me very, very nervous, which, of course, is the appropriate chalk donkey feeling here. But if we look at both FanDuel and DraftKings, and we just got the popularity projections updated here just a moment ago, we can see that a lot of the players that Matt mentioned are coming in right around 15 to 20% on both sites, which means there are going to be a smattering of them in the tournament lineups. This is still, as you can see, if we look at our minutes here, we're not giving extreme minutes to anybody. And probably that Scotty Barnes at 31 is maybe a tiny bit rich. But if we didn't do that and get him closer to 40 fantasy points, his $9,000 salary would keep him out of a lot of lineups unless you were ramping up your variance or your range of outcomes. So I think what we've done is appropriate today for this, especially when we consider where are we going to park some of our salary cap, as there aren't that many expensive players in the tippy top tier. So I think that's a reasonable adjustment there. What's also a reasonable thing to mention, Matt, is baseball is right around the corner. And have we got a promo for everybody? It is called Promo Cycle, SYCLE, Cycle. You get all of our baseball tools through April 3rd for just $1. You buy it today, it's $1. You buy it April 2nd, it's $1. You buy it on opening day, official big opening day, not the Japan series opening day, but on the 27th, it's $1. So jump in now, take advantage of promo code CYCLE to get all of your Stokastic MLB baseball needs. All right, let's see. Get rid of that, and let's move on to the next game. Charlotte at Miami. Let's see. Ball, Williams, and Bridges are all available. Josh Green has been ruled out. Salon is available to play tonight here. So that is your Hornets news. On the Miami side, we know that Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero will be playing, despite being a little bit banged up. And then Andrew Wiggins is playing. He missed a couple games, returned in the last one. I don't have my notes in front of me, but I want to say he played around 25 or so minutes, 29.6 minutes. So he should be good to go. It actually behooves Miami to win, but it's not like they're going to put the hammer down tonight. Charlotte is looking to lose in these. So it's, one of those, we kind of think we know the outcome, but there's a reason they play these games. Start us off with the Charlotte side, Matt. Who is worthy, in your opinion, of being on our rosters tonight from the Hornets?
I don't know if anyone is. They're fully healthy. They're expensive. They look like maybe the worst overall team in the tools. I mean, it takes a while to even find Charlotte guys on the Boom Bust page. LaMelo Ball, 9,700, projecting for slightly over 40 fantasy points. I'm good. Yeah, I don't see it with anyone on Charlotte. I mean, he might be their best play, and he looks like a really, really subpar play here. So I can't get on board with any Charlotte. Mark Williams, 8,700, projecting for a little bit over 33 fantasy points. Miles Bridges, 9,200, projected for a little bit over 36 fantasy points. I mean, these guys look like unobjectively bad plays on this slate or any slate. So I don't see it with Charlotte. How about you?
I begrudgingly concur with that. Even though we're giving them low 30s minutes, it makes it tough to get to those rates for them, partly because of the way Miami plays and the Miami defense. So I was looking in even the pick'em sites when I was looking this morning didn't have the PRAs, the points, rebounds, and assists for some of these Charlotte guys because we didn't know who was going to be available, who was going to be out, etc. I was looking to take unders on them. So that makes sense in this one. Yes, chat. I'm very aware that Jeremy Sohan is not starting, but let's give the tools a minute to update before we go address that, because otherwise we're just going to be speculating how that's going to be handled. And we still have a little bit of the slate to look at. The Miami side here, Matt, someone tagged me and said, why is Miami trying to win? Well, they're more or less locked into the 10th seed, which is going to be the last spot in the play-in tournament. The Raptors are 5 games behind them and are not trying to win. However, the Bulls are trying to win. But if Miami's going to be in the play-in tournament and they can get some wins, why not grab it so they can move up a rung and have that one extra chance of, hey, if we lose, we still have another out in a game, as opposed to, hey, we're the 10th seed, and if we lose, we're done. So that's why I say there's a reasonable chance that they are hopefully going after the wins. I don't think they're going to run anybody into the ground, but I think normal, typical minutes from their standard players is to be expected tonight, as much as we can expect anything from Coach Eric Spoelstra. What is your read on the Heat?
Yeah, Khalil Ware looks like one of the better plays on the slate. He's way too cheap for this spot. He's been playing good minutes. He's been productive. You know the other shoe can drop like on any given game. He's a rookie. He's shown rookie tendencies. But from a projection standpoint, he looks like, especially now with Sohan, like looking murky at chalky ownership. Ware looks really, really good here. There's a bunch of good centers, but I'm playing 3 lineups tonight. I'll probably have Ware in 2 of them. Center spot is tough to get all 3, but I wouldn't mind it if you were in all 3. He's a priority for me in 2 of them, though.
Okay. Ware has started each of the last 2 games, 7 of 10 in both games, doubles in both games. Let's see. He basically joined the starting lineup January 21st. He had 2 games where he was off the bench, 3 games where he did not play due to injury. The remainder of the games he started. So he is starting alongside Adebayo there. Let me hit the news here. And let's see, do we have anything else? Not yet, but we'll wait for everything to update here. I kind of like Tyler Hero in this spot, as well as Davion Mitchell. Mitchell is looking like a reasonable salary saver at 3,600 on DraftKings. On FanDuel, let's see where I think he's like 42. He is 42 on FanDuel. I also think he's a reasonable option there. I like him for his steals. He has been getting assists. The rest of it is hard because remember, he's a defense first player. But at those low salaries, I do like him with the hand we've been dealt today, especially on FanDuel since we don't have that late game. So he is someone that I plan on being above the field on. Anything else you want to mention here with the Heat?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that Ware looks like a priority. After that, there isn't that much to love.
All right. Let's see. What do we got? A couple more games. We'll finish these games out, guys, and then we will circle back on the Spurs. Moving along, we have Boston Celtics at Portland. So Boston, we know, is going to be without Jaylen Brown. He's missing his 3rd game with a knee issue. Holiday is out with a shoulder. Porzingis is out with illness/conditioning. Tatum is probable. On the Portland side, I believe Grant has finally been ruled out. Simons is questionable. He missed the last game with an illness. Klingon is in. The rookie missed the last game with an illness. And then Jabari Walker is out of the concussion protocol. He has missed the last 4 games. We have the Celtics coming in as nearly 8-point road favorites here. Tatum is one of our few spendy options. How are you feeling about Jason Tatum?
Given his recent game log, it's hard to love him here, but I do like him quite a bit. You got to spend your money somewhere. I think this game's competitive. He's one of the only superstars that shows up like in any spot. So I do prefer him in like big time matchups. I was talking about that recently, but we just don't have really the options to get super picky here with the spend ups. So I like Tatum. The small forward eligibility really helps. If he was only power forward, I would have a differing opinion there because there's a lot of good power forwards tonight. Well, no, not that Sohan isn't in play anymore, but he's not like an auto lock anymore. So I guess that helps Tatum's cause at power forward as well. I like him quite a bit. No Jaylen Brown, no Porzingis here. A lot to like, in my opinion. How about you?
Concur that this has moved Tatum up the board, as you mentioned. We'll get into Sohan here when we finish out these games on how we're going to approach that. But he makes me a little more nervous. Tatum, Boston would like to win. Boston, is in play. Let me get to the standings over here. They are 5 games behind the Cavs, so I don't think they'll be able to sneak by Oklahoma City, which is 2 games ahead of the Cavs for the best record in the league. But there's an outside chance Boston could still get, into the 1 seed here in the Eastern Conference. So I think, they'll be doing everything they can to win after resting a bunch of players. So if Tatum is out there, I expect to get reasonable minutes from him. I think in this kind of a matchup, anything less than probably a 45 PRA would be disappointing in my opinion. But I'll look and see where we have him, but that's kind of my thoughts there. But on this kind of slate, in the self-contained vacuum of DFS, I think it's important to have someone like him for the raw points. I like Peyton Pritchard on FanDuel here. He's going to be on 25% of the lineups per our current projections. I'd like to be have him on about 50 to 60% of my lineups because I like him for the mop-up duty aspect of this game and lack of a lockdown defender on Portland. Sorry, Matisse Thybulle. Sorry, it's been a rough year for my fellow University of Washington alumnus. Do you have anything from Portland that stands out?
I don't think so. With Klingon back now, it takes not that he's a usage hog, but Avdia and these other guys were playing up a spot. We were seeing Denny play a little bit of center. Obviously, Duop Reith was getting run. It's not a good spot, for Portland. Denny at this point is going to be in play, especially on smaller slates, but nothing about really anyone on Portland as far as their price tag and spot. Yeah, I don't love Portland here. I don't really see it. How about you?
Yep, that totally makes sense. And this is one of the spots where we make up ground because nobody is more than 7% owned on FanDuel and on DraftKings. It is a similar story with Avdia just coming in at 17%. Nobody else is above 6%. See, look how quickly we can get through this stuff when we need to. That gives me a reminder to give everybody something for free. So if you have not yet signed up for Portfolio EV, you can get a 7-day free trial. All new users get this opportunity. Stop guessing, start winning today with Portfolio EV. The link is in the YouTube description below us. All right, the final game here for FanDuel, still 2 more to go on DraftKings. Denver Nuggets at Houston Rockets. Jokic is out. He will be missing his 4th game. Houston is good to go. The Rockets are 7-point home favorites, 225 implied total here. We got some stuff to talk about now on the Denver side. I hand it over to you, Matt, because chat says I talk too much, and they want to hear your dulcet, raspy tone.
Thank you for that. I'll take it. You're not wrong.
A little Barry White in the background.
Yeah, well, my voice after my surgery is a little messed up, but I can take the jab. So yeah, Denver looks really good here. I've been on team play Russell Westbrook whenever Jokic is out, and I still like him here, but he's projected lower than I thought, and he's overowned. So I'm cool getting away from Westbrook. I like Aaron Gordon a ton here. He's, especially with Sohan now out of the mix, I think you just play Aaron Gordon. I'm a huge Aaron Gordon fan in general. Fun fact, he's a massive reason I won my first ever NBA GPP. This is in Aaron Gordon, obviously, his Orlando days. He was playing Russell Westbrook on Oklahoma City in Orlando. So takes you back. Elfrid Payton was also amazing that game. He looks like just a jam play at 5,700. I like Jamal Murray a lot. I know he's got the ankle thing he's dealing with, but he's playing no Jokic. I expect a bounce back from him. He's got massive upside at 7,900. So I'm a fan of Jamal here. I like Aaron Gordon. Those 2 guys look really, really good to me. After that, I think you can get to like the tertiary Nuggets, but they don't look great to me. I think for me, it's Gordon, then Murray, then Westbrook, then everyone else. But really, Gordon's the priority, and then Murray is a guy I'd really like to get to, is how I'll put it.
I think you hit that right on the money. Gordon is my DFS building block of the day. I just dropped the link into chat for that free article. I like the under 6.5 assists there for Westbrook. That was popping up on the tools. It's still available on the tools as being highlighted as a decent play. There was some books that were way out of step this morning where you could get the differential was, I think it was minus like 110 or something like that it was minus 103 on Bet Rivers. At the same time, it was minus 156 on Pinnacle. That is a 5% difference. That makes or breaks a sports wagerer, a sports bettor doing this full time. That kind of spread. When you see a sharp book that far out of line from some of these softer books, you go after that number, even if you're not as confident in it. Now we need Westbrook to, get under 7 assists. We're projecting him for 6.2 at this point. He's kind of bounced around a little bit. He does have in his 330 or so minutes with Murray on the court and no Jokic, almost a 30% assist rate. But it's this matchup that has me more interested in taking his under on this. I like Westbrook for DFS. No problem about that. But I think he needs to be more of a disruptor in this matchup. He needs to be more of a rebounder in this matchup. And there are, Gordon and Murray, and there are other people that can handle the ball. So I don't think that's going to be a main role for him. And I don't like how the matchup against some of the backcourt defenders here for Houston fit against him. So that's enough for me to take the under on this wager, but still recommend him for DFS. That's
I want to go back a couple games, actually, just real quick, because other people might be thinking about this also. What were you saying about RJ Barrett's minutes?
So for RJ Barrett, what I was saying was I was using him as the example of shitty injury reporting and him not being one of the stars. So they're just like, oh, he's got an illness. Oh, my elbow. I can't, when his minutes, I'd be shocked if he plays more than 30. My guess is, I don't have to look right now. My guess is we probably have him, for around 28. And he's at, we have him for 28, and he's still at has regular salary. But my point for him was more just the crappy injury reporting and what happens when you're a star versus just a nondescript flotsam and jetsam, even though for our purposes and for most of the time, if it's a real game, RJ Barrett's a good player. For DFS in these setups, he's just not today, nor at this point of the season for that. Hopefully that didn't cause too much confusion. And don't worry, chat, you keep asking. We're going to get back to all the different starting lineup changes here. Anything else from the Denver side that you like? Is Michael Porter Jr. perhaps? Who do you think is going to be the sacrificial lamb at center? I'm guessing it's probably Gordon. It's probably
Gordon.
Do we see a moment of Zeke Naji? Because I don't think we're going to see Dario Saric. I don't think we're going to see DeAndre Jordan. Those guys haven't played in a month, and we've already seen Jokic being out. Which in turn to hand the baton over. Anything else you got on Denver, and how good from a basketball sense does Alperen Şengün look in this matchup?
He looks really good here. I don't know if that's where I want to prioritize my salary, but just from Aaron Gordon is playing center standpoint, he does look good. He's another guy, though. Like, he just doesn't project well for his price tag. That's the theme of this slate. You kind of just got to choose guys. He's 9,100. He projects for 40, slightly less than 44 fantasy points. Like, he's not a bad play, I don't think, just because of the context of the slate. But I don't want to go out of my way to build around him especially because two of the best plays on the slate, Khalil Ware, and then a guy I didn't even bring up. It was my fault. But with Porzingis out, Luke Cornett, I mean, he looks really, really good here at 3,800. One of the best value plays overall. So I'd rather play Cornett and Ware and spend up elsewhere, personally.
All right. From Clint F wants to know, most importantly, how was the gelato from a couple nights ago? Fabulous. It's fabulous. It was about 2 weeks ago. With everything full here on Houston, do you see yourself in your limited lineups going after anybody?
I don't mind playing Fred VanVleet. I don't mind playing Jalen Green, but neither of them are priority plays for me. They got a lot of cooks in the kitchen. VanVleet does stand out from a leverage perspective, so I'll call him out there. And I think he's in play. Nothing really more, nothing less there.
All right, let's hit the last game, and then we'll circle back on all the news. And I will try to get my lineups in today because I don't want to take a zero on this one. This game is only on DraftKings. Oklahoma City Thunder at the Los Angeles Clippers. We have OKC favored by a bucket. Dang is out. He will be missing his third game with the calf issue. Jalen Williams is out. He will be missing his sixth game with the hip issue. Lou Dort is questionable. He has missed 3 games with the hip issue. And then Chet Holmgren popped up on the afternoon injury report with a hip issue. The Clippers should be good to go. What are you seeing in our final game of the night on DraftKings?
This is not a prop. Peyton Pritchard starting. Luke Cornett not. Horford starting at center. So this is all important stuff.
We'll circle back. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, and Jeff Doughton starting. So just this last game has nothing.
About.
This last game has absolutely nothing. No.
Okay. SGA 11,005. He is the odds-on favorite right now to beat Jokic for the MVP. That can still change, of course. And if we look at Clippers, nobody coming in at more than 5%. So let's hit the refresh button here. And as promised, even though chat can't hold their mud, they are asking questions. Let's look at Philly first. So Philadelphia revised popularity. Doughton is up to 29%. Edwards at 24. Grimes slides a little bit here down to 16. What do you want to do with the news on their starting lineup?
Yeah. So I think all these, I want to wait for the stuff to update, but I mean, all these guys just became more in play. I don't really have this is what you need to do. Just was worth noting that that's what had come out.
All right. What about Peyton Pritchard? Start.
Yeah, he looks really good here. Again,
so much for me being way ahead of the field on him now. That was famous last words that lasted 10 minutes.
Yeah, he looks really, really good here. No doubt about it. I mean, Luke Cornett doesn't look nearly as good. Horford looks better. Again, got to wait for this stuff to update, but there's definitely going to be a bunch of changes.
No. Chat wants us to talk about it now. They can't wait for the updates.
LOL.
All right. And then what was the last piece of Chris Boucher officially out with an illness. So he doesn't have to suffer the shame of being a DNP CD. He's got an illness. Hitting the starting lineups here: Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Charlotte, as expected, Ball, Smith in the starting lineup, Daquan Jeffries in the starting lineup, Bridges and Mark Williams. Atlanta, same as last night: Young, Daniels, Risache, Gee, and Okongwu. Portland is going with Simons, Sharp, Kamara, Abdia, and Klingon. Miami, their standard one: Hero, Duncan, Robinson, Andrew Wiggins, Ware, and Adebayo. Jared Butler coming off the bench for Doughton. That is less exciting for us. Jokic ruled out for Monday as well, and we are waiting for an update. I think that hits everything with 17 minutes to go. Let's see if we have any questions in chat other than what are we doing with all of the new things that are happening. Let's go look at, let's see. Sorry, the last update was just now. So that should at least have the San Antonio information in it. So let's hit the refresh here.
Oh yeah, Sohan doesn't look nearly as good now, but that was a while ago. I mean, it's mostly how much Pritchard do we need? How good does Horford look? Doughton looks amazing now, and the ownership might not get there. So yeah.
Yep. Sohan lost 50% of his popularity. He's down to 16% on draft.
So he's just a completely different play now. And I talk about this all the time. It's almost like Kevin Porter. And last night, when you got the Kevin Porter game, I'm so pissed at myself for not playing more of him and getting on scrubby Ryan Rollins. But the 200 difference just mattered, and Rollins projected so much better. So I digress. Sohan is now a contrarian. He still projects well for his price tag. He's not amazingly well, but there's certainly game scripts here where he crushes and he's not getting nearly the ownership. So I'd leave him in my pool at least.
All right, let's look at Philly. So, yep, that leaves Butler completely on the outside looking in, not even getting a full percent. Edwards Grimes still okay. There was one other piece of news. Did the tools count for Boston? Let's take a peek. Probably, with Pritchard up to 28% now. All right.
Madness, I tell you.
Nuke of the night. We can do that. We didn't get to that yesterday. So sure, since we're waiting, do you have a nuke of the night?
Man, I have. Did you get any of that? For me, it's Pritchard. I don't know if anyone heard that. I think I might have been muted, but yeah, for me, it's Peyton Pritchard. I don't see how you don't play Pritchard in this spot now. 5,900 starting. He looks like one of the very best plays on the slate. So great, EMac is back.
Well, that was the little blue screen of death there. I did a hard restart, so you know what? I'm not going to share my screen chat since you've been being kind of mean to me.
And I think I was on mute while I was talking, and you weren't there to tell me. I know. That was the worst part of it all.
I think that was the best part of it, now that you say that.
Fair.
EMac still has AOL. Pretty close. I will be back tomorrow in Florida at home, plugged into the router. So I'm looking forward to that. Trying to do all of these different screens while on Wi-Fi and traveling has been a bit of a pain, learning on the fly here. So thank you for your patience, for those of you in chat that have been extending me that courtesy. And for those of you that haven't, that is your right as well to bitch and complain. It's okay. All righty. Let me get back up to the news pages here. I was just sitting there going, oh, if this doesn't come back, I'm not going to get my lineups in again. So, all right, let's see. Okay, 3 minutes ago, we got an update. So let me share my screen. I'm going to just build my lineups here on screen. So I am playing on FanDuel. Matt is playing on DraftKings. I am going to the contest generator. I can see in the upper corner here, we got projections updated 4 minutes ago and the player popularity 2 minutes ago. I'm going to generate lineups. EMac tested out Windows 1. True story, first Excel I ever used was Excel 2.0. That was back in 1988. My senior year of high school into the spring of 1989. Let's see. Focus EMac. Yes, that is good advice. Simulating lineups. So have you determined where you are making a stand with your 3 lineups, Matt?
Yeah, I'm playing a lot of the new guys that just came out. I mean, I'm playing in my 3 lineups a lot of the same guys. building blocks for me. I talked about Aaron Gordon. I mean, he's one of the first guys I'd plug in. Jeff Doughton and Pritchard look really good now. And then, you know, if you listen to me throughout the show, you can probably guess who else I'm playing.
All right. Let me get my templates ready. Please let it upload this time tonight. And chat. Oh, MySpace. What about GeoCities? Oh, what was that first bulletin board? Oh, my friend, I'll think of the name of it at some point. When we were in college, we didn't even really have the internet. It wasn't Odyssey. My friend had a CD, and you could get the raw AP, the Associated Press feeds, and stock. Prodigy, that's what it was. And stock. That was before Netscape Navigator. Oh, did you do your Nuke of the Night? Because that's where I fell.
Yeah, I did. It was Peyton Pritchard.
Okay. Let's see. Yes, Common Guy got it. Prodigy. All right, let's see what we got there. Napster. I've never downloaded a song. How is that? All right, 150 lineups. Let me see if this is sharing. Sorry, I thought it was sharing. There you go. So Doughton coming in at 98%. Oh, let's cap him at 90. We've got Peyton Pritchard. I'm going to cap everybody at 90. And let's change this. Unfavorite everybody. Favorite everybody. Peyton Pritchard, I said I liked. Let's give him even more of a boost. Grimes, I really like Aaron Gordon. Let's see. Şengün. How did I end up with him? Oh, not bad, but let's give him a couple clicks. I wouldn't mind doubling the field on that. Let's give Aaron Gordon one more. Dyson Daniels, let's hope he gets 3 steals. Oh, Tatum. There's where I'm going to make my stand. Tatum, 20% above the field. That's going to do it. Oh, Tillel Ware. Yeah, I'm above the field. That's good. A couple clicks there for Adebayo. I don't want to be below the field. And then I said I liked Hero. Let's see how that goes. EMac making lineups on a first-generation Nokia. My second phone was my first cell phone was a Razor. It was either my first or second. That tells you how long. I didn't even have the old flip phones or the bricks or anything like that. Yeah, that was a long time ago. I am going to upload these just so I can have something to root for tonight. And hopefully it works. And then we will do the Vaya con Dios. Choose file. Go. Super chat here. Yabusele or a cheaper Horford on FanDuel? I would still lean towards Yabusele there, even though they are allegedly monitoring his minutes. He's going to play over 30, would be my guess. Horford is the one old guy that he will do what needs to be done, but he will also be the first guy off. So he's going to have to compete. He's going to have to be really efficient because I would be shocked if he plays more than 27 minutes tonight.
I'm with you.
Thoughts? Okay.
No, I agree.
And let me just make sure these are loaded because upcoming. God, FanDuel has the weakest interface compared to that. Everything's loaded. All right, we're good to go. We got 7 minutes. Let's see what else we have left here. The Motorola StarTech. You know, the one I always wanted was that one that had the full keyboard that you could flip around. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's the one I've been thinking of. The first, what was that called? Oh, it was in the. Oh God, I had one of those. I can't. Oh God, I gotta look it up right now.
Yeah, so I never did that. Never downloaded a movie. Never ripped a CD. A DVD. I've burned CDs because
Sidekick is what I'm thinking.
Sidekick, yes.
Yeah, I didn't even have to look it up. It just came to me.
Yeah. Bean Dude got your music from Columbia Music House. So did I, and many of my friends. that were all just different versions of my name because there's nothing like getting 20 cassettes for a penny or whatever those deals were. Good times. Good times. All right, let's Morse code. Yeah, that's something. That would be me. So, all right, there were my lineups. Let's look and see just so nobody gets angry. What else is out there? Tatum is looking like he's going to be on just 20% of DraftKings lineups. I like that as a stand, Matt.
I'm playing a lot of Tatum here. I mean, easy for me to get to him. Why wouldn't I play him?
Yeah. Pritchard still holding at 27%. Let's see. Just I haven't got the update that came through. Nope, that is going to be it. That updated 5 minutes ago, and that's since most of the games start here at the same time. There is nothing else to do. Downloading porn took 3 days and left my computer in shambles. There you go. That was not me. That was since Mama Mac's in the other room. She doesn't need to hear that. That was Brett Sheep. Oh, Levert or Risachet. Well, they're in entirely different price points, but play Risachet. I'm nervous about Levert's minutes on the back-to-back. I would think he may get a little bit of veteran rest because they're going to need him to be a air quote defensive stopper if they want to make it out of the play-in tournament.
Fine with either of them. Don't love either of them.
Ricky Bears, man after my own heart, got so many metal CDs from Columbia House that he paid 99 cents for. Yeah.
Man,
little headbangers
House.
Good
Columbia
stuff.
House catalogs.
Do you remember the music store Sam Goody?
I do. We have other like record stores that were always popular back in the day.
EMac, will you do a show before first pitch on opening day? I don't know if it will be me. There will definitely be baseball shows. We're still waiting to get the schedule, but that's why it's very important for these free shows to hit the like button. It always helps if you guys retweet. It helps if you subscribe because the powers that be like to make sure that they're getting bang for our buck on our shows. And if we are not converting these into actionable things, then we won't do shows. It's a put and a take here. So when we say we need likes, we really mean, hey, if you don't want shows to go off the air, we'd really like some likes. Hey, we used to do 2 baseball shows every day. I think we're only going to do 1 this year, unless there's a morning slate, or an early slate. So there's a chance we may not do them on Sundays. I'm lobbying hard for that because Sunday, what's a Sunday without an MLB show? But again, guys, this is a tough market these days. So hit that like button, subscribe, come in through our links, retweet our articles. It's all helpful because this is all tracked. So we want to see who is driving what sort of traffic. Dirty O, yes, you are absolutely correct. There was not enough actionable information coming from those shows. Same thing with NASCAR. So there you go. See, these things will disappear. Abdia or RJ Barrett? Definitely play Abdia, even with more people back from Toronto. That is key. Shed or Bogdanovich, last spot.
Shed.
I would agree with that. Fred VanVleet or Gordon on DraftKings?
Gordon, but I like VanVleet as a contrarian play. And the first guy who asked, like Risachet or Levert, I'd play Shed over both those guys also.
Is Orlando Robinson still in play for value on FanDuel? I would say sort of. Let's see what minutes we have. I would be surprised if we gave him more than 20 minutes. I'm guessing we probably gave him 18. And I've got too many filters here. We gave him, surprise, we gave him 24 minutes. Yes, he is still in play on FanDuel. What else do we have? Dyson Daniels or Derek White? I would lean towards Dyson Daniels.
I would play Derek White over Dyson Daniels if salary wasn't a thing.
Okay.
I think from a points per dollar perspective, Daniels looks slightly better, but I personally would play White over him.
All right. And with that, we are at lock. Good times. I will get playback on. I'm actually going to be here for a few minutes, so let me do that for you guys. I'm going to drop the link into chat here. If you guys go over that, I'll get the game started. I see that blacked out when my show went, or when my internet said enough, said no mas. What game do you think people want to watch? Philly, Atlanta, or San Antonio, Toronto?
I think San Antonio, Toronto. I was going to say that, or Boston, Portland. So San Antonio, Toronto sounds good.
All right. We'll put that one on for you guys. Jump on over there, and we're going to get on out of here. Tomorrow is a new day. We're one day closer to MLB, which gets going on Thursday. Of course, we will be doing this all over again for NBA, a whole host of games tomorrow with a lot of quite the front-loaded start. So we'll have to see how things are chopped up. We could get a Belman slate where everything on DraftKings goes off in the first 90 minutes.
You see that first MLB slate on Thursday?
I did.
All the games at 4.
Yeah, that is going to be your dream scenario there.
It is a dream slate for me, no doubt.
As long as there's no weather or extra innings somewhere. Right?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a dream slate for me up until the slate actually locks. So, yeah.
Of course. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for working through, or allowing me to work through the technical difficulties. Hit that like button on the way out. We appreciate it. You guys can find Matt on Twitter at FantasyTipsMatt. I am at EMac DFS. And, of course, it is Stokastic _COM. With that, gamers, good luck.